Hi folks, Sty here. Well, this video is another live or die off the land video in that series. This one is going to be part one of probably a two-part, maybe three-part video um, on gear and supplies necessary to strike out and live off the raw land. As I always stress, we're talking about living off the raw land, more of a primal approach to living off the land than homesteading or that sort of thing. So let's get right to it. And the reason it's probably be 2 to 3 videos is there's a lot of considerations when it comes to the gear necessary for living off the land. Now it depends on what approach you're taking. Now if you're just diving into it, somebody's going to drop you off at the edge of the wilderness and you're going to strike out, and you have the intention of doing it 100% primitive, and you're walking into the situation with absolutely nothing except the clothes on your back. I sincerely do not even want to go there. We haven't been cavemen for several years. And I have no interest in, I haven't taken it to that degree. I have no ambition in that sense to go out thinking that I'm going to live for 6 months, a year, the rest of my life, starting out literally with nothing but the clothes on my back. Okay. However, now if you have some primitive survival items, that's a different story. Starting out with some of the basic necessary tools. Now, even living off the land, you still have all those considerations of the 5 C's, for one thing. You either have to have in your possession the 5 C's, or you have to have the skill set and the frame of mind to procure those 5 C's in a very expeditious and immediate state. You have to be able to get to that point immediately of having those 5 C's. But I'm going to do a separate video just on that issue and those types of tools and gear necessary for striking out on a live off the land from a more primal aspect, and even from a well-prepared aspect. So I'll do a separate video on that. This video, I'm going to talk about the clothes on your back, that type of gear. Now, a lot of people, again, because of, and I have to say, because of the film industry, they've glorified our ancestors, our pioneers, and the mountain men, and the frontiersmen. They show, oh yeah, that's awesome. Look at those fellas in their buckskins out there just roughing it. Okay. Now, when you put yourself into that situation, live off the land situation, and you're going to be out there and you're not going to have the opportunity to secure and possess replacement items, you have to be able to replace items on your own. So when you set off, there's a lot of things to consider. Footwear. You need comfortable shoes. You need durable, long-lasting boots. You need durable, long-lasting trousers, pants, good pants. You need a good shirt that is durable and long-lasting, and I would say you need 2 to 3 of each of those, not the shoes, just the clothes. You need undergarments. I've had people say, "Oh, you don't need undergarments." Actually, hygienically, you should have some undergarments um, because they protect your skin and your more sensitive body areas from your more durable exterior clothes. You need good headwear. You need a hat. Now, you would probably need a couple of types of headgear. A bandana to make a do-rag, a hat with a good brim on it to keep the sun out of your face. Um, you also need gloves, handwear of some sort. You will find, and I've spent many years not wearing gloves, working outdoors. My hands got tough and calloused, and they could handle just about anything at the time. They're not as tough as they used to be, and they're not calloused and toned like they used to be. Plus, I have the misfortune at my age, I'm getting arthritis. I got bad knuckles. So I need gloves more now than I ever used to. But okay, so there I covered all these different clothing items, right? So let's say you're dropping yourself off into this situation, you're going to live off the land, and you do it in the spring of the year, and you've got all these, you've got your clothes that you want. You got the spare items stuffed in a pack. Now, you have to stop and consider, do you have the ability now to be prepared for the seasons? Summer's coming. You're not going to be wanting to wear long, heavy trousers and a durable, heavy, long sleeve shirt and along with your undergarments. So how are you going to deal with the extremes of the summer? A lot of heat, the weather, rain. Do you have an overcoat of some sort that'll protect you from the rain? When you have to live, when you're living off the land, you have to, for the majority of your time, every day is procuring something for your longevity. So you have to go out even in the bad weather and do things. Are you prepared for that? Do you have the clothes for that? Do you have a heavy jacket or a rain slicker of some sort? Do you have shorts to wear when it's 96 degrees outside and 88% humidity? Are you prepared for that? Now you get through summer and it starts getting cold. Are you prepared for the winter? Do you have a heavy overcoat? Do you have proper headgear? Do you have a fur-lined hat? Do you have a good hood? Do you have a overcoat that's got a good built-in hood, like a good parka? Do you have long underwear for insulation? Do you have heavy winter pants? Do you have heavy winter boots? Do you have heavy wool winter socks? Do you have heavy mittens for the winter? Now imagine all these clothes items, that all those conditions would require. I had someone tell me, oh no, a good pair of buckskins and a jacket and you're good to go. Now I've owned buckskins and I used them in all seasons. They're not going to keep you warm in the winter, not unless you've got something to put over them. And people say, oh, well, in the summer they keep you cool. Well, I don't know. The deer I got my hides off of must have been a winter deer, because those buckskins were not comfortable in the summer. And I tried all the tricks that were out there. Get them wet and let the evaporation off of them cool your body down. That works if you've got access to water constantly. Plus, constantly having your buckskins damp deteriorates them. They don't last as long. So our television media, the movie industry, shows all these mountain men in their buckskins, and they always look good and comfortable, and everything's always hunky-dory. That's not the reality of things. It really isn't. Am I against buckskins? Absolutely not. If I was out living off the land, I guarantee you I'd start out with modern clothing. And I would say within 18 months, I would have reverted mainly to natural clothing made from buckskins and fur-bearing animals. So, here's the key. You get out in the woods, you can't carry all this. Your pack would be 210 pounds and huge. How are you going to drag that around with you out there? You're not going to. So, here's the key. You're going to strike out early in the year with lighter weight, more comfortable clothing that's suitable to the season, to spring, that you can adjust for the summer. And then you're going to be harvesting game. Here's the key, back to the key. Do you have the skill set to turn a deer hide into usable now, buckskin? Do you have the skill set to turn fur-bearing animal pelts into tanned, fur-on finished product that you can make hats, mittens, liners for your moccasins? Do you have that skill set? If you do not have that skill set, your clothes will be wore out and you'll be running around naked and afraid. It's just the facts of life. So here we go. You want to live off the land? And I think it's great. I think the whole concept is wonderful, and I wish I was 40 years younger. I'd give it a shot. I'd love to go out there and give it a shot for 2 to 4 years. I think it'd be wonderful. If the camera starts moving, it's because our goofy cat's playing by the tripod. But back to the point. I think it's great that people want this information and they want to know. And a lot, I say a lot, but it's really a small portion of us that want to delve into it, actually go out there and do it. But I think a lot of people should go out and test it and practice it. Why not? It's a great hobby and it's a great skill to learn. They're all great skills to learn. So in the future, I will be trying to do some videos on preparing hides, both hair on and hair off, how to make brain tan buckskin, and how to do hair on tanning of fur-bearing animals. And so how do you preserve those things so that you can make clothes out of them? Now that takes us right back to your shelter needs to be adequate to store these items off-season. So there's a lot of issues, and I'm going to get into that in another video, I'll probably call it housekeeping. in the outdoors. Um, how your shelter needs to be maintained so that those items stay safe and in good condition for when you need them. So there's just a little bit on clothes. Um, One thing that you'll find is, and people need to do that, is eventually if you're living off the land, you're going to wear out your cotton or wool or blended fabric socks. They are going to wear out eventually. So then what do? Well, the pioneers, frontiersmen, 90% of them never had socks. Your feet get toughened to it, and it's your footwear that protects your feet, not your socks. So I'll get into that when I get into tanning hides and manufacturing clothing from those hides. But there are some things to consider, some things that you should keep in mind. Jumping out and living off the land, there's a lot of issues that goes with that. People think, oh, it's simplistic, it's minimal, it's the minimal needs to get you by. In actuality, it's a huge, huge systematic process to live off the land. And this is just another one of those points. Clothing, your gear, and your clothing is one of the key elements of the gear you need to live off the land. So there you go. Just a little note on some of the gear that you need. And like I said, this is part one of a maybe a two-part or a three-part video on gear that you need when you're trying to live off the land and not die off the land. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is Stein North. Look forward to having you back for the next video. If you haven't seen the ones prior to this, take a look at my Live or Die Off the Land series. It's in a playlist. And if you like this, click the like, share it. And if you haven't subscribed, please jump on board and subscribe so that you get notifications of my new videos coming up. So I'll cut it off at that. And this is Stein North saying, you all have a nice day. And bye-bye.